Welcome to my tutorial on making a baby card. We'll go over to the basics section over here and drop that down, and we're going to choose a shape to start with. We're in the online version of Canvas. I've chosen a rectangle shape. It's not quite the right size, so I'm going to resize it. Now I've used the grids to just line it up a little bit and just make it a little bit wider, sort of estimate how big you want it. And you can see I've made about that size there. We'll just go down and look for another shape to make. I happen to know they've got a shape in here that would be good for the bottom part, which is place it about there. I'm selecting that shape. You can see it's about 3.94 inches wide, so it's about 4 inches, so it's not bad. And we'll go up and get a square and we'll join those two shapes together. So that square's come in at the same size because we had that highlighted. And we'll just line that up. Just kind of gauge whether it's about the right depth that you want. Just move them up a little bit, might make it a little bit shorter. It looks kind of how I want it. So to select them all, you can just drag your mouse over and see them all highlighting there with the blue dots around. Or alternatively, I'll just click away here. Alternatively, you can go up here and edit, and that will just select all there. So click on that, and you can see all those blue dots have come around again. So we're going to go and centre it. There's two centres. There's a horizontal and the vertical. That one's the horizontal, this one's the vertical. I'm not going to horizontal because that'll just make a mess of that. Vertically centred, and you just would have noticed it a line there. I'm going to weld. So then in the process overlap section, and there we have it, a shape that nearly looks like a baby romper. Needs a neck, so we're going to go and put a circle in there just to chop out a bit of a neck. Select the circle, move it over. Oh, it's a little bit big, so we'll just grab this little right hand handle, just drag it a bit smaller, bit of a look to see what it looks like. Kind of put it in the centre. Select all. I meant to centre that with the centering tools, but that's okay. So we've got some selections down here. We're going to go into subtract, which is the end one. Here we go. So you've got a neck now, and it looks like a romper. Now you could leave it like this, but I'm going to show you a little bit extra. We'll just see if we can get rid of that little square shape. You could probably use a circle, but we'll use an overly tight one. Just grab the little top bit up there, that little round, leave it about where you want because it's not going to be quite right. See, it takes a big chunk out. Grab the little circle and just rotate it around. Kind of move it into the position you want. Excuse me. And just resize it to suit. Just rotate it a little bit more. It's just a little bit of a fiddle to try not to chop out too much of the romper suit and just get that little angle in there. So it's going to just take too much of the sleeve away. Now it's leaving a bit too much of a gap. So there are other ways of doing this. This is just one way. You could just edit the nodes and make it around with straight editing the nodes, but we'll step through some of that as well in a moment. We just can squeeze that down to any shape we want. Place it over. I don't want too much of the side of the romper gone. I don't want too much of the sleeve gone, so I'll just shrink it a little bit more. Kind of when it's about the right shape. Yeah, it's not too bad. So we'll duplicate it. And Control C will duplicate that. And Control V will paste it. And we will just flip that the other way. So we're going to flip it so it's on that angle. So that's identical to this one, but on the reverse angle. We'll just align that back in the same position. Use your guides on your mat to help you work things out. But select both of them if you hold the Shift key down and select both. And this time we're going to horizontal align, which they were pretty close because I didn't see very much movement at all. So there they are, and we'll just drag the box over And we'll go and select subtract, take that away. Now already I can see that that's presented us a little bit of a problem. Oops, I zoomed out a bit too far, just zoom back in. So you can see where I'm looking. Middle. You can see there that that's actually a little bit of a problem. A little chink out of it where the corner of the design was. So we'll highlight, if you click on the design, so just click away and click on the design again, that'll bring up the nodes. You can see where that's a bit brighter blue, those nodes, they're not the nodes we want to alter. So we'll click away from them too. Once we've highlighted the one we want, the minus sign up there, that panel there, you can see on the top left is a plus node, minus node, join node, and change the format of the node. So you can see which ones are highlighting. We'll just delete one more. We've got quite a reasonable shape curve there. You can see what we started with. Now we just need to do it the other side too. So we'll click once, click twice, and that'll bring the nodes up. We'll click on a node. Yes, I only selected the one, so we'll go minus that node, and that's gone. And they've got like little handles on these nodes, so you can actually just kind of move them around a bit and adjust them. Unfortunately, the video will hide some of it with the pink highlighter, but there, it's fairly good curve there. We'll just have one more little play with that one there. Let's move that so it comes in straight. You can see it's a big long stretch that's highlighted blue for that one. That's the node that will be altering there. And that's not too bad. So just zoom back out and we'll check the size. So it's 703 by 547, which is a bit big to fit how we're going to have to do this on the mat. So we'll just grab this little end anchor point and drag that up so you can see the size down that left hand panel is just changing. It's only changing the height of it. You can see the little arrow points to the height. Just see if I can highlight that a little bit more in track. And we need to duplicate this and join, so we need to be able to fit this on the mat. Obviously make it a bit bigger if you've got a 24-inch mat and you want to use it a bit bigger. So we're just going to make it a bit narrower. You can see the narrower the width is adjusting. Now we've done it this way at the moment, which is an easy way to do it, but we can also go up to properties up here, and there's an area here where we can plus. You see I can move the plus sign, it increased it. We can highlight the number and change it. Maintain ratio, if you remove that, it'll only change either the width or the height depending on what you're adjusting. I'm going to make it 5 inches. Now I've clicked away and you'll see it's still 524. So I'm just going to go back in and change it again to 5. And this time I'm going to click on the box. You see that box didn't move away that time, and you can see down the bottom right hand side it says 5. I'll just change the height a little bit because 2 6s are 12 plus 0.35, so not going to be fitting on the mat. And we'll just bring it down so it's going to fit on the mat. And we'll click in the box and you can see it's shrinking, and now it's 5.6 inches by 5, which once we duplicate that, that will fit on the mat. So we'll just move that down the page a little bit and we'll duplicate that. So Control C for copy and Control V for paste. There are tools up on the, if you don't remember that, there's tools up in the program to copy and paste as well. And we've just flipped one of those. I've done that twice and flipped one of them. Just got the other copy there for something to show you. Drag your box, imaginary box, and highlight them all. I'm going to have a go at welding, and we'll just align them first. They look like they're kind of overlapping enough. So have a little look there. So now we're going weld. Now we've got them aligned. Weld, and in a minute. No, we haven't. See that line still there? So while that pattern is joined, it's not got the weld we want. So we'll just undo. And we'll go back to where we were. Oops, did one too many, so we'll go forward again. And we'll highlight them both. If you hold your shift key in, you can highlight both of them, but I'm just going to arrow down so it just goes a little bit more over the top of the other one. And weld. And there we go. So now we want to put some lines in to score the fold. So click in where you think is the middle and hold your shift key down and drag. Now I want to go straight, so it's very, very tempting to go down to that little point where you know it's going to be the right spot. However, keep your line straight. It's much easier to adjust the straight line than it is to negotiate it. I'll just move that out of the way. So go up to properties and we're going to change that to a dotted line or a dashed line, depending on what you call it. I usually choose this third one down. This one's quite big, but it's quite chunky marks too, so I quite like this one. Get rid of your properties thing again. So we want two of them. I can Control C and Control V again. And we'll just move that. We'll grabbed it and lost it. It's okay. So what's happened is that's dropped at the back behind. So we've highlighted the pattern. Here we'll put the design to the back. You've got lots of options there. Play with your options. And I'm still having a bit of trouble grabbing it. But you can see it's grabbed there. But what we're going to do is we're just going to grab it all because that will work as well for us. Grab all three pieces, our two dotted lines and our main pattern. We're going to horizontally align them. So you can see it's just over a little bit, which is a bit of a nuisance, but not a big drama. Just so I don't fight with them, I'm going to move that pattern over a little bit. Highlight that. And arrow key across. I'm arrowing so I keep the same line, but I will go and check that again, I think, too. Let's put the pattern back roughly where it is. Highlight the lot so you can see everything's highlighted. See that bit and that bit are both highlighted as well. And I'm going to go and just double check that it's pretty right. Moved a smidgy, not too much. And now we're going to group that so it stays together. That's your group function there. And now you can see those little blue lines are no longer around the dashed lines and it's in one piece. Alright, I had this little piece over here. You can see that's exactly the same as that one. I'm just going to do a little tricky thing with it. Go up to the edit function again. And this one here will create a outline or an inside version, depending on whether you choose outward or inward. We're going to go inward. And we want it, so we don't want it round, we want it sort of a square, sort of squarish edges, so we'll go bevel. We want to follow exactly. You can see it's just created a duplicated version, which fits just inside there. So it's just a little bit smaller. You can adjust how big or how much you want that to be a bit smaller or larger, depending on what design you're doing. And we'll just center that just so it looks nice. Doesn't need to be centered because we're not going to cut it out together, but we'll just do it so it looks nice. And we'll put a bit of color on it so we can see what we're doing. That's in the properties panel. We'll pick a blue color maybe. Oh, there we go. And you can see that that's blue, and we'll make the other color. Oh, none of those colors really match overly. Let's just make it white. Okay, there we go. It's white. So could make that a little romper with an outside piece or a patterned piece. If you want to use patterned paper, it wouldn't have to be quite as thick a cardstock. It could just be a pretty pattern, so you could have a pretty design on it. Now just move that down a little bit. Okay, so let's make a bit of a border. So another option is you can have a look at the borders, a little border around something. There's lots of borders. Some of these would be really nice. Rather like that one there and that one. They're all nice. The little heart one's cute too. I'm going to choose this one up here. And you can see it comes in big. That's going to be way too big. So you could just shrink it down, which is fine. If you shrink it down too much, just undo. I'm going to shrink it down quite a bit. I'm going to start with perhaps shrinking the depth down. Just select it again and we'll make it a bit thinner because it's way too thick for our design, and we'll make it a bit shorter and maybe a bit thinner again. This is a fun bit. You just play with what you're looking for and see if it works. Get it a bit smaller again. It's quite narrow. You can see our design's quite little. We're only sitting at 50%, so we're not even at 100% zoom at the moment. Just wanted you to be able to see the whole mat. Line it up with your grid so it's it's straight after you've turned it. Let's just line that up there. Already I can see it's only got on at least 2 scallops, so that's not quite enough. Yeah. Just make it a little bit narrower and a little bit smaller so we get a few more scallops in the area we want scalloped. Bring that up, see what it looks like, just sort of line it up against it. That's not too bad. Bit of scallop there, a bit more of adjustment. About there maybe. That's about halfway in a scallop. So just move it out the way a bit. So we're not going to interfere with that. We'll go back in and grab a basic shape. And we'll just grab a square perhaps. You can choose any one of these shapes, it'll all work. Just going to grab a square because it's just as easy. Make it a bit narrower so it doesn't interfere with the design. Now I've left that piece I've designed in about the right spot so I can use the dash line as a bit of a guide to roughly where I want it to end up. And just zoom in with the zoom to have a look a bit closer to see where it's lined up, and select all of it. You can see both of those are selected. We'll go back up to our edit panel and choose subtract down here, and you could use process overlap sometimes, the overlap, remove overlap process, but we're going to choose. So that's not bad. Let's put it over here and see what it looks like. Yep. So next thing, I don't like that little piece down there. We'll just double click so you can see the nodes in this view. If you adjust them, kind of hard to manage. So we'll zoom right in. And you can see me moving those nodes. Nothing like we expected, is there? So we just undo that. Much easier, and you'll see the difference in a minute when I click on the nodes. Just undo that right back up so it's back how it was. When I click that once, twice, brings up the nodes. See how fine those little nodes are to manage this time and how much easier they are to grab instead of trying to work sort of at a distance from it. Just move that up a little bit. So it's kind of in the right spot. Now you could add another node. You can just adjust these little bits if you want. See it just moving it around a little bit. Got little handles on it. Just fiddle with it. Up that top left panel that's popped out, you can change it to straight or curved, or you could add another node, put in there. But it's a pretty small design. I'm just going to go with that for this instance. And we are going to go back onto select tool, and we're going to duplicate that. So it's Control C and Control V again, and you'll get 2 copies of it. So we want one to go the other way. Just move it over a bit and we'll go and flip it. There's your little flip tool. I'm going to flip it that way. Just pop it into position so we can see what it looks like. Obviously we're not going to cut it there because we need to cut separate pieces for these ones. Give them a bit of colour, go up to properties and just add a bit of colour. I'll go for pink because I like pink. And we'll make that one pink too. There we go. Already can see it starting to take shape. Now you could put it around the bottom there as well if you wanted to, or even around the neck. It's another spot that would go around. It's a bit more work putting it around the neck, but certainly doable. Or across the chest is another option. Depending on how you design this, you can design this any way you want. But what we're going to do this time, we're going to put a name on this baby's romper. So we'll grab that text there because that's not bad. And if you double click into the box, you get to highlight that, get a little cursor and highlight it. Type in baby, I've typed it in capitals. Click away and your box changes shape with the handles. You can see it's a bit big, so we'll just drag it a bit smaller. Now with words, you're pretty lucky you can make them a bit taller if you want. Often that doesn't matter how you change them. Add a bit of colour for it as well. Pink too. Now for my baby romper I'm going to put the name on, but we don't know the name yet, so I'm just putting baby at the moment. Now might make a rattle. We'll get a circle. It's a bit big for a rattle yet, so we'll just grab 50% zoom, so it's a pretty big circle. Grab the little corner and shrink it right down so it's tiny. Yeah, it's going to be about right. Just make it a little bit smaller. And now we need to make a handle. So there's a few options, but I think we'll just go with a rectangle shape. Just pick that one there. And spin it around. Line it up with your grid. We could have just gone and shrunk this the other way, but never mind, I've done it this way now. Make it tiny and thin and bring it up so it's about the right size. We'll just move it into position so we can see kind of what it's going to look like. Yeah, it's not too bad. Just move it over a little bit. So, yeah. So now we need to have a little holder for our rattle. And just copy and paste that circle we started with and make it a little bit smaller. And then we'll go up to the choosing the outside to make it a bit bigger on the outside, just like we did with the top, with the romper front. And you can see it's made a circle around that little circle that we had. Just select both of those and go up. So I've zoomed right in, as you can see, so we can see what we're doing. We'll go up and subtract, and that's all gone. So what the problem with that is, just undo that, is that the little circle is behind that big one. So the little circle was at the back because we created the other circle around it, sat on the top. So we'll just bring that one right to the top. So it's sitting on top. Now because I moved it, we need to just make sure the alignment's correct. So horizontal and vertical alignment. I should say vertical and horizontal because that's why I did it. And subtract this time. And if you click in there, you can actually go into the view and see the cut lines. There's the cut line. See how it will cut. Don't forget to take it off, otherwise you wonder why you can't colour anything. And if you select that, you can see it's only one box now, not two boxes like it was before. And we'll shrink it down. I probably would have liked that little hole a bit bigger. Just grab it. That's okay. There's another way of doing this. We'll just grab them all and centre them. There we go. Click away so they're not all selected. Move that one up. And move that one up a little bit. No, I want a little handle to look like a little handle. Just play around with it until you're happy with how it looks. I might make that little rectangle a bit narrower maybe. Not going to quite look how I want. Don't forget we're on a very big zoom. We zoomed right in. It's not quite this big. And just make that a bit narrower. So select them all and centre them again. Okay, that's not too bad. And now we're going to weld it. So it looks like a one-piece rattle. There's your weld function. Weld. There we go. Looks a bit like a rattle. So I'm going to put a little star on this rattle. Let's go and pick a star and we'll select that. And we've selected it and you go, oh, where is it? Don't forget we're on 364, whatever it says zoom, so we'll zoom back out. There's our star. Oops, I grabbed the romper by mistake. That's okay. Let's make sure you just move that down out of the way. It'll be much easier. That out the way. Back up. I'll fiddle with them later. And make that a bit smaller, so it's a bit big. And put them in the middle there. So you don't want the star to be too big because you need to have a bit of space around it. So it looks like it's just touching there, so I'm just make it a little bit smaller and centre it a little bit. Okay, so if you highlight all of it and you go vertical, a line. Now if you go centre a line, which are the horizontal line, moves down there, so that's no good. You'd really like to horizontal align that one, but you can't in this particular instance. So just arrow key it back up and that'll keep your centre alignment, or you can just centre align it again. Doesn't matter. Or undo, another way of doing it. Whatever's easiest for you. There's lots of ways of achieving it. We'll weld that in. And sorry, now we're going to subtract that in. That's what I'm doing. I'm thinking I'm talking. And you'll be able to see it's one box. And you can go and view the cut line if you want, but yes, that's how it's going to cut. There we go, take it off again. Let's go and colour it. Just go up to properties and give it a pink colour, just the same as everything else. And close the box. And I'll just fix up this bit of pattern too and zoom out so you can see. Down there and zoom out so we can see the whole mat. Move that over there. Don't forget you need to keep it within the red lines when you go to cut it. Doesn't matter where you work on it, but as long as it's in the lines when you go to cut it and send it to the machine. Otherwise it will give you an error message. We'll put those bits back and we'll put the baby rattle down here for the moment and give it a bit of a angle. Overall that's looking pretty cute. So you've got two options there. You can either put a blue or a patterned insert with whatever dimensions varying that you want, or you can make some embellishments. That one, so that's at the back. See, I can't grab that. So we'll just go in back to the order and we'll put the romper suit to the back, click away. And now I can grab it because that's sitting on the front. So if you can't grab something, just arrange your layers a little bit and that will make a big difference to how you can manage them. Alright, that's pretty well how you would cut that out with it all in separated pieces. Give your project a name. Let's call it Baby Card Romper maybe, or something like that, whatever you want to call your project. And I need to actually, I can't remember if I've already saved it, so I might put a 2 on the end of that. And go and save. There's your save button. There, its project has been saved. Now this has saved it to your projects folder, which is up in the cloud in the online version. But you can have a look at it here, and there it is, which is easily accessible, or you can download it to your computer. Because you've named it in the cloud, that's still got the name, Baby Card Romper 2, that's what I called it. So you can save it or send it straight to your machine. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you.